Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chuck Jagoda, and I just want to get one thing straightened out before I get started here. I know what you're thinking. You see me up here and you think, another white sex god. It's not true. No, it's not true. I can't lie. I'm not white. I converted. I figured it's pretty much over for white people. I think we all know that. And I converted to becoming a light-skinned Jamaican. And this is the serious part. We'll get to the jokes later. I changed my name to Denzel, because you know how women all melt when they hear the name Denzel. They figure I figure they'll melt twice as fast, you know, when they hear Denzel twice. It's not working yet. However, I changed my name to Denzel X. I didn't want to have a slave name any longer. And I want you to know, I've got nothing against white people. A lot of my family are still white. I was white for many years. But what do we need white people for anymore? I mean, there are black movie stars, there are black athletes, there soon will be a black president. And of course, after George Bush, that may be the last au-fait president we see for a long time. He's done such a terrible job. I was going to do a little bit about his moral leadership, which there's so little of. Actually, it's just this. I just want to say to the President, Mr. President, you know, you talk a lot about supporting the troops. If you really want to support the troops, how about giving them armor, you know, for the Humvees and for themselves, so their parents don't have to take up a collection to buy this stuff? And, you know, maybe not sending them into a civil war that they have nothing to do with, and maybe, you know, not sending them into any war that you wouldn't send your kids into. And really, most of all, Mr. President, if you want to support the troops, is bring them home. Thank you! Yes, right arm. Truth to power, you saw the Emmys the other night? Steve Martin presented the Emmy to Tommy Smothers for talking truth to power and losing his TV show. Remember my name when you see me getting thrown off a TV show. It'll be for talking truth to power. But I don't want you to think it's all glitz and glamour being a stand-up comedian, because it's not. I asked a guy for a job today, and he said he'd hire me, but he would pay me what I was worth. I said I couldn't possibly work that cheap. And I got very depressed. I called a suicide hotline in Iraq. They wanted to know if I could drive. And it wasn't easy coming up either. In my neighborhood, any kid with 2 ears was considered a sissy. I'll never forget the first lesson my father taught me. He put me up, excuse me, I'm videotaping you all. He put me up on a mantelpiece and he said, "Jump to daddy, jump to daddy." I said, "What are you, nuts?" He said, "If you can't trust your old man, who can you trust?" So I jumped, and he stepped aside, and I crashed to the ground, and as I look up through the blood and the tears and the gore, I said, "What the hell is that?" He said, "That's your first lesson in life. Don't trust people. Every mouth was put on this earth to step on your way to the top." And that's what's gotten me where I am today. I don't know if you've noticed, but men and women don't speak the same language. I mean, you've seen the scene many times. They're in love, they're embracing, they're looking deeply into each other's eyes, and he says, "I love you." What he means is, I'm going to get to have sex with you from now on, anytime I want for the rest of my life. And she says, "I love you." And what she means is, and you're not going to get to have sex with anybody ever again for the rest of your life, except me when I feel like it. So you can see there's a little, the words are the same, but the meaning in the minds is not the same, you know? And speaking of not the same, you get bombarded on television with all these commercials for pharmaceutical stuff. Don't buy that shit. Go natural. If there's one piece of hippie wisdom from the 60s I can pass on to you, it's go natural. Thank you. And let me just give you a couple of quick examples. If you have migraine headaches, don't buy anything pharmaceutical. Get feverfew. It's growing wild all over the place. You can get it in GNC and Vitamin Shop. If you take one feverfew a day, you'll never have a migraine headache. Chamomile tea, excellent for dull body aches, menstrual cramps, stomach upsets. I've been taking chamomile tea all my life. I've not had one menstrual cramp. It works. I tell you, it works. And the greatest, most natural thing of all, marijuana! California is a great state. You know, you can major in cultivation and marketing of marijuana. We are such a rich country. The largest cash crop. I mean, talk about losing money, you know, oil or the economy. The largest cash crop, marijuana, we let go. No taxing, no collection. We're a very, very rich country. Unfortunately, it makes us stupid. One other example about pharmaceuticals, Viagra. It's not all upside. And let me tell you why. A woman friend of mine called me. She said, I can't get my husband to make love to me. I said, slip him a couple of Viagra. She said, he won't take an aspirin. I said, slip it in his coffee. He'll never know the difference. So the next day she calls me. She says, I tried it. I put it in his coffee at breakfast. And I said, what happened? He knocked everything off the table, threw me down on the table, made mad passionate love to me for 30 minutes. I said, so that was pretty good, right? She said, yeah, except I can't show my face in Starbucks again. All right. All right, time to go. But one more little story. I have to tell you this. A friend of mine named Jim. My name's Chuck. Remember Chuck? Jim had a dream that he died. And he's up there in front of St. Peter, and he wants to know where he's supposed to go. St. Peter says, Jim, I got to check your records, but you're a friend of Chuck's, aren't you? Jim says, yeah, I'm a friend of Chuck's. Well, he says, why don't you go and visit Chuck? He's down in room 663 while I check your records. So Jim goes down to 663, opens up the door, and he sees me in bed with Madonna. Goes running back to St. Peter. He says, what room do I get? St. Peter says, Jim, I checked your records, and you get room 447. He beats it down to 447, tears open that door, and he sees a female gorilla in heat, shit up to here, and a stink you would not believe. Well, he's back to St. Peter in a millisecond. He says, what the hell is that? St. Peter says, I'm sorry, Jim, but that's your punishment for a lifetime of sinning on earth. Jim says, what about Chuck? St. Peter says, Chuck is Madonna's punishment for a lifetime of sinning on earth. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, and good night.